All right, everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA, and this is my stimulus update for Tuesday, May 5th. So I posted that video about Meet Kevin last night, right? About his wild, baseless speculation that Trump just implied that the Emergency Money for the People Act is his favorite. That's complete nonsense. I told you why in that video. In this video, I'm going to tell you what I think, based on facts and logic, would be Trump's favorite relief proposal if he had to pick today. Hint, hint, is something proposed by a Republican senator, not a House Democrat, all right? But again, what I'm going to share later in this video is just my speculation. However, I think my speculation actually makes sense, but you can be the judge of that. But first, let's talk about the channel poll I took yesterday. So 10,000 of you responded. Thank you for that. It looks like for the first time in the general poll, a majority, just barely 51%, but a majority of respondents have received their stimulus in a correct amount, right? With only 3% in an incorrect amount, leaving 43% who have not received a stimulus yet. That is great. I'm very, very excited about that. And hopefully we'll see that number of those of you who received your stimulus in a correct amount jump to over 60% next week. Next, let's talk about the many of you who said, where you asked, hey, my spouse owes child support and they're behind on child support. I don't owe child support. We've always filed injured spouse allocation, Form 8379, with our tax return. But still, even so, our entire stimulus was seized, not just my spouse's portion. I previously told you that those in this situation should file another injured spouse form because that was the best information we had at the time. However, the IRS just updated this yesterday. They said that if you're in that situation, that they, the IRS, is working with various government agencies to resolve the issue as quickly as possible, and you do not need to take any action, and that you will receive your unpaid half of the stimulus when the issue is resolved, okay? So if you have filed injured spouse on your tax return, right, and you're in this situation, you don't have to take further action, okay? However, if you do not file injured spouse allocation on your tax return, okay, you should file injured spouse now, okay? Because the statement from the IRS about those not needing to take further action does not apply to you, all right? It only applies to those who have filed injured spouse allocation on their tax return, but who didn't get their half of the stimulus, okay? Now, this is speculation, but this gives me a little bit of hope that the IRS is willing to send out corrected stimulus payments, right? We haven't seen that before. Now, will this apply to other situations, such as those of you with dependent children who didn't get the $500 for them? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, okay? But it is hopeful here. The IRS is saying, hey, we screwed up in this situation and we're going to make it right. Next up, last call for those on SSI and veterans benefits who do not file a tax return and who have qualifying children under the age of 17. Today is the last day for you to use the IRS non-filers tool to fill that out so the IRS knows that you're entitled to the $500 for each of your qualifying children, okay? Next, all right, let's talk about the video. Obviously, I posted that video last night calling out Meet Kevin's incredibly crappy logic that took him from Trump doesn't like Ilhan Omar to Trump just implied his favorite plan is the Emergency Money for the People Act. Some of y'all were saying that I was slandering him and I'm participating in censorship and I'm against free speech. Well, guess what? I love free speech. I'm the biggest fan of free speech there is. But you know what I'm also a fan of? Accurate speech, sensible speech, speech grounded in facts and logic. And if you think it's fine for Meet Kevin to publish crap like that, then surely you should think it's fine for me to publicly call him out as I have done. Otherwise, by your own definition, you're participating in the censorship you detest so much. See how that works? Look, speculation's fine, as some of you have pointed out. In terms of the next relief bill, it is truly all speculation right now, okay? And I have no problem with speculation as long as it's sensible, okay? And as long as there's good logic to it and a rational thought process. And I'm going to engage in a little bit of speculation right now. I'm going to tell you what I think Trump's favorite proposal would be right now if somehow, miraculously, all the proposals passed the House and the Senate, all the proposals for the next relief bill passed Congress, and he had to pick one to sign today. That's never going to happen, right? But just in this hypothetical, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Trump just implied my speculation based off a tweet, okay? That's BS. This is just my speculation. I'm not saying Trump implied anything, okay? But my speculation is actually going to be sensible based on something that Trump actually directly said pertaining to stimulus and relief, not making mental gymnastics from Trump tweeting for the umpteenth time that he doesn't like Omar, going from there to Trump is implying his favorite is the Emergency Money for the People Act. So humor me if you will, and let's go back to this past Sunday, Trump's virtual town hall at the Lincoln Memorial. Yesterday, I gave you a rundown of that town hall, and I told you that Trump said he told Secretary Mnuchin, "We're not doing anything without a payroll tax cut." Those are Trump's exact words. "We're not doing anything without a payroll tax cut."
Sure. And I told Steve just today, we're not doing anything unless we get a payroll tax cut. That is so important to the success of our country.
So logically, it would follow that if you want to say, hey, this is the proposal that Trump would probably like if he had to pick one, it would probably be one that calls for a payroll tax cut. I mean, he literally said, we're not doing anything without a payroll tax cut. Is that fair? I think it is. Now, does the Emergency Money for the People Act call for a payroll tax cut? No. But you know what proposal does call for a payroll tax cut? Yes, Romney's Patriot Pay proposal, which I talked about over the weekend, but another proposal, this one from Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. It's called the Getting America Back to Work Act, and it calls for a refundable payroll tax rebate covering 80% of employer payroll costs for firms of all sizes affected by this crisis, applicable up to median wages. This would apply to workers laid off in March who are rehired in April or May by their former employers. Now, just to clarify, unlike the Emergency Money for the People Act, the actual bill has not yet been drafted, and it might need some tweaking if it gets drafted, some updating with respect to the specific dates and all that. But my point is that this proposal is consistent with the Republican agenda right now, right? To reopen the economy, get America back to work. Listen to my first video from yesterday. That's where Trump's focus was in the town hall. The lady asked him, I got laid off. I haven't got a stimulus. Right now I'm feeding my kids with donations. Mr. President, is more help coming? And what did Trump say? Trump didn't bring up a $2,000 a month stimulus. He went directly to jobs. He told her, you'll get a better job that pays more money, right? That's exactly what he told her. So I think we'd all agree that the Getting America Back to Work Act sounds a lot more up Trump's alley than the Emergency Money for the People Act, right? I mean, if we had to speculate on his favorite, okay? Oh, and one more thing. If we're taking cues from Meet Kevin and basing our speculations off of Trump's tweets, here you go, y'all. Almost as much as Trump has tweeted his disdain for Ilhan Omar, he has tweeted his love and appreciation for Josh Hawley, okay? So we're going off tweets there, yeah. Go. So based off all this, based on the fact that Hawley's proposal actually includes a payroll tax cut, which Trump says is a must, and the tweets, based on these things, I humbly submit my informed speculation to you that if Trump had to pick a favorite today, he'd pick the Hawley proposal, the Getting America Back to Work Act, not the Emergency Money for the People Act, despite what Meet Kevin tells you. All right, that is all for today. Thank you all for your support. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when I talk about the Meet Kevin stuff, check out my video from last night where I get into all of it, okay? And of course, how could I forget? If you want 2 free stocks, check out the link below for Webull where you can get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 or more, okay? There's also a link down there to my personal favorite cashback credit card. All right, stay safe, stay healthy, y'all. Bye-bye.